The name of this video is Mel K 2030, The Great Reset Agenda. You know it's going to get crazy. It's on Facebook and Rumble only. It's the Elijah list and the Elijah Streams Rumble and Facebook pages. I just wanted to give this a watch to see what it's all about because it looks absolutely unhinged. And anything that's like Rumble exclusive tends to be really, really nutty. So let's give this a watch. I don't actually know this Mel K person. I know this guy. This is Steve Schultz. He runs the Elijah List Facebook and Rumble pages or whatever. I don't know his guest here. This will be a first for me. But let's see what Mel K has to say and who she is. I'm hoping this is going to be pretty interesting. Check this out.
All right. I think that's it. Let's bring in Mel K today.
Hi!
Yeah.
Like I said, I don't know this person, but she's wearing an American flag hat, and she's doing a video called The Great Reset or something, so I don't know what I'm stepping into here, but let's get into it.
Yes, good to have you back.
So excited to be back. You have such a great audience. So many people loved our first show. So I'm so happy to be back. It's such a pleasure to talk to you and be on your show.
Awesome.
You're repeating yourself, Mel. Get into it.
Well, you were absolutely one of the most popular, and I hope that a lot of our viewers went and clicked on your sites and supported you and signed up and all of that stuff. So good. Yeah, well, you're in Florida. You said your parents were there. I lived there for only 6 months in 1990.
Oh, wow.
And I loved it. We were in the Bradenton. We lived in Bradenton, Florida. Bradenton.
Yeah, I've been to there.
Yeah, so it was a great place to live. But I went out there, and the job fell apart on me. The owners got in a fight, and they split their company up like 3 months after we arrived. So it was a mess. It was a mess. But anyway, I left Florida.
Yeah, that sounds like a mess. I'm not really interested in the pleasantries. Get to the crazy stuff, guys, please.
Well, listen, let's jump into this. I know you're going to talk about the New World Order agenda and many things, and then I asked
Ooh, the New World Order agenda. I'm down.
You just before you came on the air, have you done research on these mysterious food factories that are getting destroyed? So whenever you want to put that in, you did say you were preparing to do that too. So.
Yeah, I am. You know, it's here's where we are. When we say it's biblical, what's happening here, what is going on worldwide, and that it's a worldwide situation. I know a lot of people are very frustrated in America. They see what's happening, but what everyone has to understand is that this is a world war, and I say that in a way that should wake people up, because not enough people are really in touch with that. Everything that's happening has been planned for a very long time.
Oh my God, I can already see the crazy coming through.
It's a controlled demolition of basically all nation states' sovereignty to go to a one world government that is, right now the face of it is in Davos, the World Economic Forum.
I really don't get it how people unironically talk about a world government. This is never going to happen, not anytime soon. You think China wants to be ruled by the same people who rule over the United States? No chance in hell of that happening anytime soon.
A lot of people have pointed that out. I've been talking about it for a couple of years, but it really it's way more than that. It's also basically all of these groups, being the financial system at the very top, the government at the very top, the UN, the World Economic Forum, the IMF. They have all planned this for a long time. And what we as Americans and people all over the world need to realize is either we're going to lose our freedom, our liberty, our sovereignty, and our privacy to a group of about 3,000 people that meet every year in Davos that have decided that they would like a top-down world.
Is there any evidence of this? Any at all? I will take anything.
And they already are running our country. We have already been captured by this globalist group. They installed, obviously,
globalists, as what's his name, as Alex Jones would say, globalists are after us.
Joe Biden. But Joe Biden was already in on the plan. They were all in on the plan. Donald Trump winning is the only thing that took it from Agenda 21 to Agenda 2030, because he got in the way. But It's just really important that people now realize that
You know, it seems like if this was true, then Trump could verify this as a fact, right? Why hasn't Trump come out and verified like any of this whole globalist plot to like capture, you know, people and control the world and one world government and all this junk? It's ridiculous, dude. Come on.
everything from the internet to the reality TV to every distraction in the book that we've been thrown. A lot of people don't know Facebook, Twitter, a lot of these things were created by DARPA and our government for track and trace surveillance, then enter the Patriot Act. We have already been...
See, this is how conspiracies work, by the way. You take one thing that's semi-true, that has a piece of truth to it, and you build on that with this ridiculous lore that has no connection to reality. Yeah, the Patriot Act really did happen, and it was an invasion of privacy. That's true. Does not mean that all this other stuff that they've built on top of it, like all of this ridiculous nonsense that they're building on top of it.
On a slow journey to losing our country. But now these people are in the spotlight. They know that they're caught. They know that millions of people around the world are pointing at them, see who they are. They're all billionaires and trillionaires.
Trillionaires. Wow. They're all billionaires and trillionaires. That's an interesting claim.
People are in the spotlight. They know that they're caught. They know that millions of people around the world are pointing at them, see who they are. They're all billionaires and trillionaires, not by design. And
there are no trillionaires in the world. The person that or the highest amount of money anybody has ever had in the history of ever was I don't remember what their name was. They had $400 billion worth of gold. It was centuries or millennia ago, long time ago. And they went on a trek across Africa, I believe, just handing out gold like mad. And they were giving out so much gold on the way through, it crashed the economy of every town they passed through. They owned like over half of the world's supply of gold or something like that. It was crazy. But the king of Mali, that's who it is. Yeah, thank you, Progress Only. Mansa Musa, is that who it was? Anyway, he's the richest person to ever exist ever. The closest one to that we have today is, I think, Elon Musk right now, but it kind of shifts between Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk and Bill Gates. Shifts between those guys. They're worth between 100 and 200 or 300 billion dollars each. They have not reached... Hello, Kitty. They haven't reached... You can't sit up here, Kitty. There's no room up here. I guess if you... God, I'm trying to work out how this cat's going to sit here. All right, sit down. And I need my controller. Thank you. Okay, have a seat. There you go. Anyway. They haven't reached trillionaire status. No person on the planet has ever reached trillionaire status. That is an obscene amount of money. I mean, that alone, the fact that she said trillionaire tells me how little she really even understands about the economy and what people are worth and all that stuff. It's nonsense that she would even suggest that there are trillionaires out there right now.
They're fighting back now in a horrible way because they know that if we, the people in mass, billions of us, stand up and say, no, we're not going to let a small group of billionaires and trillionaires and ridiculous monarchs, decide for the rest of us what planet Earth looks like, then, that's where we have to be now. People have to pick a side. They have to get up. It's always like, we don't want violence. We don't want this. We don't want that. We are in a situation of violence.
Wow. So if that's not a call to violence, I don't know what is. She's saying, I know you don't want violence, but that's a situation we're in, and we have to get violent because these trillionaires around the world are trying to create a worldwide globalist society where America is controlled by the trillionaires in the world. Like, it's getting crazy. This is all built on conspiracy theories from the start, first of all. And second, she wants violence to make these conspiracy theories stop. It's absolutely absurd from the ground up. And sad. Deeply, deeply sad that we're in the situation we're in right now in this country.
It's mental. It's a We are in a psychological war, a very, very well-planned psychological war, a war on truth, a war on our children, which is very important in their big picture. And again, it's worldwide. So right now, the only thing standing between these people and freedom, liberty, justice, and God, basically, because they believe that they are God, is...
Oh my God, they're atheists too, I guess. Okay, these trillionaires are atheists. Interesting.
The U.S. Constitution, the Bill of Rights, and the Bible.
You know,
everything else.
Let me just add this too, because this is like either 3 or 4 years ago. I didn't check with him to get his permission to quote him, so I won't say it, but one of the prophets that has been on the Elijah stream 3 or 4 years ago, we went out to lunch after the show because it was in the studio back then, and he said, Steve, Facebook was created by the CIA, and I'm going, what? Back then we were all sound asleep. I mean, you may not have been, but I.
And this is supposed to be a prophecy from God? We were all sound asleep. Oh my God. Wake up, sheeple! This is so funny, dude. Facebook was created by the CIA. Okay, go on.
I was totally sound asleep. I just thought that sounded like foolishness now, and you're saying not only Facebook but Twitter was also
all of it.
I mean, it's hard to believe, but
wow. And he buys it now. This is so ridiculous. I can't even.
I do now.
Yeah, I mean, the sad thing is, like you brought up the food shortages. This is all in their playbook. Everyone should. I can send you a link too. Everyone should take a look at the Rockefeller Foundation 2010. A document on basically Operation Lockstep. In the CIA and their cohorts always have some kind of operation something. Well, this thing in 2010 came out shortly after another meeting at the Rockefeller Institute with Bill Gates and Bloomberg and a lot of the people involved.
Oh my God, these are all the centers of so many conspiracies. Bloomberg and Bill Gates and all that stuff. It's so sad, dude. So sad. I love it when Christians claim that our Constitution was founded on the Bible, despite the fact that most of the founding fathers, especially Thomas Jefferson, were deists who wanted religion and government to be separate. Lamau. Absolutely, yeah. Thomas Jefferson especially didn't want religion involved in any way at all. None of the facts matter. If there's a fact that contradicts their beliefs, they ignore it. They pretend it's not real. They make up stories about how this fact was fabricated by blah, 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 the deep state, to try to trick you and all this stuff. It's ridiculous, honestly.
Involved in the current Great Reset, where they first started talking about depopulation.
So I'm looking at this BBC News article. The title is, "What is the Great Reset and How Did It Get Hijacked by Conspiracy Theories?" A vague set of proposals from an influential organization has been transformed by online conspiracy theorists into a powerful viral rallying cry. What is the truth behind the Great Reset? That's the title of the article. Where did it begin? Like many popular conspiracy theories, this one starts with a grain of fact, as I said a minute ago. In June 2020, the Prince of Wales and the head of the annual Davos Summit launched an initiative calling for the pandemic to be seen as a chance for what they call a great reset of the global economy. A flashy launch video interspersed images of a world in chaos. A dead killer whale, a hurricane, kangaroo caught in a fire, with a speech by Prince Charles. You can watch it on YouTube, apparently, but that's the video, basically. "We have an incredible opportunity to create an entirely new sustainable industry," the prince said. "It's time to act now." The other founder of the initiative is Professor Klaus Schwab, head of the World Economic Forum, which organizes an annual summit in a Swiss ski resort for some of the world's wealthiest and most powerful people. He explained the idea behind the Great Reset in an article accompanying the launch. Here's a quote. "The pandemic represents a rare but narrow window of opportunity to reflect, reimagine, and reset our world to create a healthier, more equitable, and more prosperous future." Why wouldn't these people want a more equitable future, a more equitable economy? There's a Great Reset podcast and even a 280-page book, but the plan is light on specific detail. Professor Schwab does speak about a wealth tax and ending fossil fuel subsidies, but the scope is huge, covering technology, climate change, the future of work, international security, and other themes, and it's difficult to see precisely what the Great Reset might mean in practice. The lack of clarity, combined with the plan being launched by an influential organization, provided fertile ground for the conspiracy theories to grow. Okay, this is the conspiracy section of it. The proposals, along with the WEF, World Economic Forum, itself, face legitimate criticism from a variety of sources. Conservative political figures and media outlets accuse the organization of pushing for environmental policies that would hurt the economy. There are questions about whether unelected individuals like Mr. Schwab should have the power to lobby so prominently for ideas that could potentially transform the global economy. The Davos meeting is certainly filled with powerful people who have a huge influence on world events. There are also concerns about the impact of technology on civil liberties and jobs. Number of Great Reset posts on Facebook. Oh, this is interesting. Between June 2020 and May 2021, it just exploded. Trudeau apparently put out a video about it. And after Trudeau put out a video, it exploded, apparently. The real energy online is not about legitimate political questions, discussions about fossil fuels and income inequality, but the shape of the wild and unsubstantiated claims. The term Great Reset has received more than 8 million interactions on Facebook and been shared almost 2 million times on Twitter since the initiative was launched, according to BBC monitoring research. Among the most popular posts are baseless statements that the Great Reset is a strategic part of a grand conspiracy by the global elite who somehow planned and managed the COVID-19 pandemic. In this narrative, lockdown restrictions were introduced not to curb the spread of the virus, but to deliberately bring about economic collapse and a socialist world government, albeit run for the benefit of powerful capitalists. Wow, that's absolutely nuts. Oh my God, J.P. Sears is in this BBC article. That dude used to be kind of funny, completely disconnected from reality now, that guy is. He is nutty. Franklin Graham's in it too. And who is Emerald Robinson? Never heard of Emerald Robinson before. God, this is crazy, dude. This Great Reset conspiracy is nuts. The nebulousness of this conspiracy theory means it's found followers among anti-vax activists, anti-lockdown campaigners, New Age healers, and those on the far right and far left. Melanie Smith, head of analysis at Graphica, who researches online movements and disinformation, says the rumors are typical of anti-establishment conspiracy theories. The most intricate of those typically prove popular with government skeptics from across the political spectrum, she says. In the hands of a diverse group of online activists, the Great Reset has been transformed from a call to encourage people to think about sustainable futures, or to a sinister plot against humanity. There we go. Oh, geez, I saw a sign outside of a Seventh-day Adventist church near my house that said something about the Great Reset a few months ago. Now it's all clicking into place, huh? You're remembering all the times you saw a bunch of people mentioning the Great Reset? Yeah, it's just a conspiracy theory, of course. But I wanted to give you guys some background into what the Great Reset is. So how did it go viral? This is the section on how it went viral. These conspiracy theories began circulating online around June 2020, but only gained significant traction later in the year. On the 15th of November, the phrase started trending on Twitter when a video went viral showing Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau at a UN meeting in September, saying the pandemic provided an opportunity for a reset. It's unclear whether he's referring to the WEF plan. Number of Great Reset tweets in the past year. So Trudeau video goes viral November 15th, and it just exploded from there, I guess. 1.8 million tweets. Some claimed his speech was proof that global leaders were using the pandemic as a pretext to introduce a range of socialist and environmental policies. Thousands of Donald Trump supporters boosted this idea. They claimed that a victory for Mr. Trump in November's election was the only chance to thwart the so-called secret plot. Okay, yeah, we're almost done with the article, and then we'll continue with the video. What's the historical background? Most of the narratives being promoted around the Great Reset are not new. Experts say similar ideas about the emergence of a totalitarian world government have been circulating since the 60s under the umbrella term New World Order, which itself borrows ideas from conspiracy theories of the 18th century. Wow. Great Reset skeptics repackage those ideas, folding in new baseless COVID-era claims, for instance, about how vaccines contain microchips and enslave people. Its adaptability and close ties with the New World Order narrative, Ms. Smith says, make it likely that the conspiracy theory will outlast the pandemic. Microchips, altered DNA, and other false vaccine rumors. These are all apparently sub-articles you can click on. Okay. In a video from January, the WEF, which is the World Economic Forum, acknowledged that the messaging around the Great Reset didn't go quite to plan. No, I don't know that that's it. It's just conspiracy theories latching on, or conspiracy theorists latching on to things. That's all. Hands up, this kind of slogan hasn't gone down well, a voiceover says. In response to questions about whether the discussion had been hijacked by conspiracists, the WEF said in a statement, "Conspiracy theories replace reason with fantasy. They are noisy, but peripheral part of the public sphere. We encourage rationally grounded, fact-based debate." What's next for the Great Reset? Conspiracy beliefs are also seeping into discussions about the global response to climate change. Big surprise. Mr. Schwab's proposal emphasizes the use of more green public infrastructure projects and greener growth. Wow, look at this. This is a post, it looks like on Facebook. He's a lizard person, I guess. Schwab is supposed to be a lizard person in this. Obey, consume, reset. I put my special glasses on. Wow. Miss Smith says online activists who deny the existence of climate change often engage with the Great Reset theory to dismiss sustainability and renewable energy initiatives as an elite agenda for control. The overlap of those conversations has become stronger as climate issues become even more prominent, she says. Wow. So that's the Great Reset. That's what we're talking about here. That's what Mel K is talking about, the Great Reset agenda. But God, it's just getting crazier and crazier, dude. Absolutely nutty. So with all that being said, let's listen to Mel K.
Using climate change, climate emergency to control the public, and unfortunately, pandemics and viruses. So 2008, they're already all formulating it along with the UN, the World Health Organization, the Gates Foundation, and the Soros Open Society.
Yeah, oh my God, Soros, Gates. I mean, how many anti-Semitic conspiracy theories can you fit into one? The Great Reset is like an overarching conspiracy theory, it seems to me. Definitely a QAnon conspiracy, but non-QAnoners also believe it too. Steve Schultz is a QAnoner, and I don't know this Mel K person, but I'd be willing to bet that she is too.
Society. All the same players that are involved in the Great Reset were already planning that. Then in 2010, the Rockefeller Foundation puts out a real game plan, and we are living that game plan. I knew that the famine was coming. I knew the war was coming. I knew the pandemic was coming because they tell you, and they told us.
No, nobody told you Russia was going to invade Ukraine. There was suspicion, and everybody wanted to avoid it, but here we are. Soros did not tell you that Russia was going to invade Ukraine or whatever else. This is pure conspiracy theory.
What is that deal? I've got to ask that. I've asked that before. What is it that they feel like they have to tell it first? Is that their ethos? What is that?
Yeah.
I love it. Why would they tell you? That's a good point, Steve. Thank you. Why would they tell you that this stuff is going to happen? Why would they tell you that they're going to do this before they do it if they're evil and trying to trick people or whatever else? It makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. And what's her explanation?
What is that deal? I've got to ask that. I've asked that before. What is it they feel like they have to tell it first? Is that their ethos? What is that?
Yeah.
It's pattern recognition misfiring is what it is, actually. They believe they're finding all of these secret messages and patterns and all of this stuff. It's not a conspiracy theory. It's not a conspiracy. It's just people doing their thing. That's it. They're not planning to hurt you or trick you or whatever else. So what's her explanation for why they're telling everybody all this stuff?
It appears, if you look into it, and even if you read about anything in the Bible about Lucifer or any of that, first you have to understand that these people, most of the ones at the very top, I'm talking the ones that sit on the board of the World Economic Forum and the IMF and stuff, they...
You know what, let me write this timestamp down. Hang on, this is... Why do the elites tell their secrets so easily? It's a good question, Steve. I like that question. That's using your noggin right there, bud.
They are Luciferians. They don't believe in God. They believe that God is on earth, that they are God, that there is no afterlife, which is why they're all obsessed with transhumanism and eugenics and stealing all the resources on the planet for themselves, even though they put it in nice flowery language, like you're saying, like Agenda 2030, all of this stuff, sustainability, the Great Reset book that Klaus Schwab...
Dude, she is using so many buzzwords right now. It's ridiculous. If I didn't know all of these buzzwords, it would make no sense to me whatsoever. Let me just step back and try to wade through these buzzwords again.
Even though they put it in nice flowery language, like you're saying, like Agenda 2030.
Okay, Agenda 2030, from my understanding, was what it was changed to after Donald Trump won the election, because originally it was Agenda 2021 or something, right? They were trying to implement the Great Reset or whatever before Trump won the election, and he threw a wrench into the works. So Agenda 2030 is the buzzword referring to the fact that Trump threw a wrench into the works when he got elected.
All of this stuff, sustainability, the Great Reset book that Klaus...
The Great Reset book is basically a 280-page book that was kind of vague on what the plan is, but it was just trying to... What was it? They were trying to work out a plan to improve energy sustainability and stuff like that, and that's what was in the book. What was the next thing, Mel?
Reset book that Klaus Schwab wrote,
The Great Reset book that Klaus Schwab wrote. Okay, got it. That was one full buzzword, apparently.
And all the simulations they do these run-throughs. They did Event 201 about, to prepare for, the pandemic, and it played out exactly as the simulation. I think what we're doing...
Yeah, of course they do simulations to make sure that, we are prepared to handle certain things. Yes, that's the government's job. Did you forget you're paying taxes to make sure that the government has an appropriate response to pandemics? No, everything is evil and nefarious, and they're out to get us. Always. That's what it is.
Dealing with now, the food shortages is part of a second simulation at the World Economic Forum called the Cyber Polygon.
Wait. Food shortages right now are a simulation? Do you know what the word simulation means? If it was a simulation, then by definition it wouldn't be happening in real life. What are you talking about?
Exactly as the simulation. I think what we're dealing with now with the food shortages is part of a second simulation at the World Economic Forum called the Cyber Polygon exercise. And then they did another simulation on taking down our entire financial grid, which I assure you is coming. So what we need to
which I assure you is coming. Hasn't happened yet, but it's happening any minute. Just sit back and wait. You'll see. It's going to happen.
Realize is that they tell us because then when it comes to pass, they can say, well, we told you, because there's something I think in their belief.
Oh, there's her explanation. So Steve asked her, why are they so blatant about it? They have these nefarious plots that they're trying to take over the world. Why are they so blatant? Why do they tell people what their plots are? Why do they reveal it to people like you when they know that you could use it against them? And her answer is, what was her answer?
They tell us because then when it comes to pass, they can say, well, we told you,
I don't understand. I'm not picking up on this. What are you talking about?
Because there's something I think in their belief system and what I've learned about it and what I've learned about this whole Aleister Crowley and satanic side.
Oh, wow. It gets into Aleister Crowley, too. Fascinating.
Is that they can't mess with free will. They
Really?
need to
Really?
have, yes, there's something about free will, and that they have to invite people in to join them, like Facebook.
What? This sounds like she's mixed in like the idea that, or the lore behind vampires, right? Vampires have to be invited in. Is she like, does she seem to think that the Charles Schwab is a vampire or something? Go on, Kitty. This is so strange, dude. So deeply odd, the way that these people view this stuff.
They have to invite people. This is why a lot of the stuff that they do is that Helgian situation where they create the conflict, the war, the famine, the climate emergency, whatever it is they create, then they come in as under the UN or the World Economic Forum or the World Health Organization with the solution. But they already know that they created the initial issue. So they come in and then they want us, we the people, to beg them for their solution, which in this case is the Great Reset, even worse, the Fourth Industrial Revolution, which is why I think people need to really understand that if...
Like, every one of these things that she's referencing is a buzzword in itself. Everything is a buzzword here. And if you don't recognize the Fourth Industrial Revolution, if you don't recognize what that is, it's because she's so steeped in conspiracy theory. I don't know what that is. I've never heard of that. But it's yet another buzzword. Yet another conspiracy theory is what that is.
If you do listen to these people, and you should, look all this up. World Economic Forum. Go look at what they're saying. Look at who's involved. That the Rockefeller Foundation, same thing. It's always going to be the same, at least on the American side. It is my belief that we no longer are a representative government. We've never been a democracy. We were always a constitutional republic, but...
Actually, we're a representative democracy. We are a democracy. It's just a different type of democracy. But you notice she's kind of... It seems to me that what she's doing right now is building it up to be okay with... she's building it up in such a way that her audience will be okay with losing a democracy. It seems like that's the kind of the angle that she's taking right now. We're not a democracy. We've never been a democracy, so losing a democracy isn't really that big of a deal, see?
The media and the left wing and all the people, they're all in on the Great Reset. They think that they're going to be spared in some way.
Yeah, they're going to be protected because they helped it get there.
Right.
They're going to be, many of them are going to be sorely disappointed.
What do they think is going to happen? I don't understand.
If it were to actually happen right now, which our prayers are that we're going to short circuit this, but.
Right, but we have to get up, we have to wake up, we have to not be in fear, we have to understand everything on January 6th was manipulated so that people would not fight back ever again. It's all been manipulated to make us live in fear, in panic, and not fight back, and not stand up for ourselves. We have the Bill of Rights, we have the Constitution, we need to embrace that, and anyone that you're hearing out there, especially MSNBC and CNN, and I hate to say it, a lot of them they're committed to it, but not because necessarily they're committed to it. We talked last time about blackmail and all that, but also because the whole media is owned by six corporations, all of them involved in the World Economic Forum, all of them at the very top.
And this includes Fox News as well?
Yeah, it does. It does.
Okay.
That's why they're all connected to this Great Reset plan. Some of them are fighting it. You see it. But people always ask about Tucker, and I say, Tucker has a contract on both sides. You know, he's...
Yeah, Tucker is a really, really popular... one of the more popular, not news hosts, opinion hosts, or talk show hosts, I guess you could say, is really what he is. One of the more popular talk show hosts out there right now, unfortunately. What are you guys doing? Are you being little weirdos?
I think he's doing them as much as he can to wake people up, but there is a limit, which is why shows like yours and other shows talked about Flyover, and a lot of these people, it's so important that what we're doing, because they we're trapped in this kind of like the Matrix movie is kind of where we are right now. And
wow, they seem to believe that the Matrix is like borderline real at this point. These people are not connected to reality anymore.
And the more that people listen to the mainstream media, people are waking up. They get it. But I think we discussed last time, Obama's back on the scene. Nobody really understands who or what Obama is, and that he was born and bred to do exactly what he did.
Really?
What? Obama? Okay, I got to write this one down too. What was this? This was, let me step back 10 seconds here.
I get it. But I think we discussed last time.
Okay, 1503. Obama is not human. He was born and bred to do what he did. God.
Obama's back on the scene. Nobody really understands who or what Obama is, and that he was born and bred to do exactly what he did,
Really?
which was divide our country at the core. A couple of my friends, my friend Joel Gilbert made a great documentary about the real Barack Obama, and Jack Cashel is a writer I have on. He did a whole book on his history. And remember, we didn't know anything. I don't know if you remember, it was Clint Eastwood did a speech at the RNC where he had an empty chair.
Yeah, I remember the empty chair thing. Yeah.
Right, and everyone said he was crazy. Of course, he makes the best movies and obviously isn't crazy. What he was saying is we're actually going to be voting for someone we don't know, that doesn't seem to exist. And that is exactly what happened. His whole background is CIA. The parents, the grandparents, he was bred for what he did.
You're talking.
Wow. Obama again, I guess. Hang on, that was what 1552, I guess. More Obama conspiracies. This is so weird, dude. This is so weird.
Talking about Obama.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So a lot of things happened under Obama that people need to really understand. Obama had a mission. Obama's mission was to divide America in the core. If you look at everything that he did, and it's not just him. He was the main guy. He was the face. But this is the globalists controlling him. The CIA, which
the globalists
now I call communists in America, or whatever you want to call them. They came along with Operation Paperclip and the UN and the whole subverting America.
Once again, these are all buzzwords that are references to conspiracy theories, like their own self-contained conspiracies, basically. Operation Paperclip is the source of so many ridiculous conspiracy theories. I don't really have time to look into each one individually, but it's all just more and more unhinged as we go.
Into a communist country where the government is God. The government, they want us all living off the government,
They want us all living off the government. What makes you think that? 1639. They want us living off the government. What has given you that impression? No joke. This is so ridiculous.
Into the government. Now the whole track and trace thing, which plays into the food thing.
Once again, track and trace, food, these are all buzzwords that she's using. We could sit here and look up each individual one. We would be here all day if we did. You know what, though? Let me just look that one up real quick and see if there's, hang on. Track and trace conspiracy. Contact tracing. Oh, I see. This is a contact tracing conspiracy theory, apparently, according to Politico. Her reference to track and trace. Basically, contact tracing programs were intended to try to slow the spread of the virus. I cooperated with those contact tracing programs. It was just people asking if I knew anybody who I'd been in contact with recently, and I told them the people that I talked to, and they asked for their phone numbers. I gave them to them. They called them. It was that simple. But no, this is all a big conspiracy. Because they're not tracking us through our phones already, of course. So they need us to tell them the information. Because they don't already know exactly, or they don't already have the ability to track us if they really wanted, if the government wanted. They're not already tracking us. So totally, that makes sense. That checks out completely. These people clearly don't know what communism or even socialism are. Neither of them means that the government is God, nor do any of them have anything to do with God or religion. Both Steve and this chick he is interviewing are delusional. Well, yeah, I agree. I think you're right. Absolutely. They live in a delusional world at this point. Like, they are disconnected from reality. No joke.
But we have to understand, Obama, Cass Sunstein, Eric Holder, they're all talking about this Ministry of Truth, this disinformation group. Well,
even more propaganda, even more conspiracy stuff. The Ministry of Truth, if you're watching this 5 years in the future, when Russia started the war with Ukraine, they booted up their bot network and went out there trying to spread propaganda to as many places as they possibly could. So the U.S. created basically a new department to identify Russian propaganda. There's no enforcement arm of it. Like, they can't bust into people's homes and arrest them or something. It wasn't like that. It was just trying to identify the propaganda. That simple. But, of course, even that is unacceptable in these people's minds. Even that was weaponized as a conspiracy theory, and they call it the Ministry of Truth, which is a reference to 1984.
Well, back in 20...
So it's like every 10 seconds I have to stop and explain what these buzzwords and these conspiracy theories mean. It's all conspiracy all the way down with these people. No joke.
And Obama, Cass Sunstein, Eric Holder, they're all talking about this Ministry of Truth, this disinformation group. Well, back in 2012...
Yeah, disinformation group. They were tasked with identifying the disinformation that Russia was spreading. That's what the Ministry of Truth... That's what they mean when they talk about the Ministry of Truth. What I don't understand is how conservatives can be pro-Israel, yet at the same time be anti-Semites. This seems like a contradiction in my eyes. Then again, Christianity, especially Saul of Tarsus, Paul, teach Christians to not like Jews, especially Jews who don't worship Jesus and the Messiah law. I'll tell you why that is. The reason they're so pro-Israel and so anti-Semitic is because they need Israel to exist before Armageddon can happen. They don't like the Jewish people. They are anti-Semitic to the core. I would venture as far as to say they fucking hate the Jewish people and don't believe that they're going to be saved. They think they're going to die in Armageddon. But they need Israel to exist as a country before Armageddon can come. That's why they're pro-Israel, but anti-Semitic simultaneously. It makes perfect sense when you realize where they're coming from, when you realize what perspective they're coming at it from, basically.